So we've talked about the dashboard, your profile, and the help link. Now let's go over the rest of the top nav bar. On the left, we have 3 tabs: Content, Reports, and Add-ons. The Content tab is made up of 2 parts: Pages, where you're going to be spending the majority of your time in OU Campus, and Assets. The various tasks you'll do in Pages are going to get their own videos, so we'll leave those for later. Assets aren't really going to pertain to you as a general level 7 user, but in case you're curious as to what they are, an asset is basically like one of those electronic signs you see on the freeway telling you there's a construction delay on the 110. All the signs are controlled in one office, and if something changes, they can be edited all at once with a single button. So, for example, our daily parking permit cost. Right now, it's $3 per day, but if it goes up to $4 a day, you wouldn't want to have to find every single place on the website that mentioned the daily permit price and change it to $4. And if you missed a few, then there would be different prices on different pages, and that'd be a problem. So our parking permit fee is an asset, and that way, if the price goes up, it can be changed everywhere with the push of a button. The next tab is Reports. If you hover over it, you see that there are 6 choices in the drop-down menu: Required Actions, Checked Out Content, Pending Approvals, Scheduled Actions, Recent Saves, and Recent Publishes. If I click on the Reports tab itself, the landing page is the same as if I had clicked on Required Actions. Something very handy is that this menu that appears on the left is the same as the drop-down menu that appears from hovering over the Reports tab, so I'll just go ahead and use this left-hand menu. Anyhow, back to Required Actions. We see that the main required action involves fixing broken pages. Here it's showing me that there's a problem with the left nav bar for our department. So technically it's not a broken page, something's wrong with the navigation bar that goes along with all of our department's pages. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me where the problem is in the nav bar. I had to open up our department's homepage in a separate browser and test all the links one by one. Turns out the problem is with this last one. So if you see one of your pages listed here in Broken Pages and there's no indication why it's listed here, I'd recommend opening up a different browser, navigating to that page, and poking around until you figure out what the problem is. And if you can't figure it out, don't worry, just send an email to webdeveloper@elcamino.edu and mention that such and such page was listed in the Broken Pages section and you're not sure why. Next is Checked Out Content. This is the very same info that's in the gadget on your dashboard. Next is Pending Approvals. Level 7 users don't do any approving, so y'all aren't going to have anything listed here. Scheduled Actions is for things like setting a page to expire. So, for example, the Center for the Arts might have the page with all of their fall season shows set to expire at the end of November, and then the page with their winter shows goes live. We go into this more in a separate video. Recent Saves is literally just who at your institution has clicked the Save button most recently, and what page it was they were saving. Not really that exciting. And Recent Publishes is what pages were published most recently on your campus's website, I guess in case you're curious. And last but not least, we have the Add-ons tab. The tab itself isn't a hyperlink, but in the drop-down menu, you can click on Marketplace. This section shows you some tools that we don't have installed and lets you see which ones we do have installed. You can click on them to learn more about these tools, and there's even a request button so you can, in theory, send an email to the webmaster and request that we buy it. So it's sort of like one of those pop-up ads they have in a free app that asks you if you'd like to add the premium features. Oh, and if you're wondering, clicking on the phrase OU Campus in the upper left corner takes you back to the dashboard. That's it for the rest of the top nav bar. Like I mentioned, the bulk of what you're going to be doing at OU Campus will take place in Pages, and I go over that in separate videos.